excited about shots and get excited about what we were using for the shot, and you know, it's always cutting edge. In 1981, we were cutting edge, you know. So.
Well, and you know, we had to shoot it under the title A Boy's Life because back then everybody was stealing right and left the ideas of different films.
Right, because if you could get the jump on another studio by figuring out what, you know, Steven Spielberg was doing next, and you could take that and turn it around and put that out before the other studio did, and you know, and you undercut your competition. So that's why, you know, that's why you have like Flight of the Navigator and Mac and Me after
E.T. The E.T. ride in Universal Studios Orlando, I think now in the fandom is kind of akin to the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. Like, it'll never get replaced. Like, no one messes with it. They actually just painted the outside of it. It looks rather nice.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In the line for that, there's like this little cool mini documentary that's on a loop for like people to watch as they're waiting. And an interview with Steven, he mentions like the last day that you guys filmed with E.T. was rough. Like so rough to like watch you guys have to say goodbye to E.T. He says even he got choked up. Like looking back at that again now, like all that I would imagine is attached to the legacy of working on this movie that's stood out for 40 years. What does the legacy mean to you now, 40 years later, like watching the legacy evolve over the past 4 decades?
Yes, I'll take it. You know, guys, if you could hear all the stories of how many lives have been changed through this film, you would understand how much we appreciate being a part of it. A young woman came up to my table. Her son was 10 years old and autistic, and she had never heard him speak a word. And she took him to see the re-release of E.T. And on the way home, he said every line in the movie that E.T. had said. That's a miracle to me. And it's an example of how that movie reaches through barriers and teaches and reminds us all you have to do is love each other and be their friend and help them get home in whatever way you can, which is, to this day, a lesson we all need to remember.
It's also important that you guys take credit for it as well, because you know, we just made it. Like, we told the story. You can tell as many stories as you want, but it doesn't matter unless people are listening, right? So audiences are responsible for giving this film the life that it's had, and it's always been that way. But I mean, this film lives and breathes on all your memories.
Absolutely.
In your hearts.
We're all right.
Yeah.
Whoa, man.
Well, moving, past E.T., because a lot of our fans that come to these, of course, are horror fans as well. And you each have such an impact on the horror genre as well.
Really?
Really. Henry, for you, it's kind of wild. It's always fun when someone starts out as a child actor, you and Drew, and you guys stay in the business to watch how you guys evolve with your craft.
To watch the drama unfold.
Yes, and but going from Elliot, this wide-eyed kid with an alien best friend, to your roles, I always lovingly refer to it as the Flanagan verse.
Yeah.
You go from, it's fun that Dee is up here with you to ask this question, because you become this parental figure, and the love that you show in Hill House, but even on rewatching Midnight Mass, that role is just this heavy, just thick role to play. Like, what has it been working with Mike? Because you guys, it's been a lot of fun to watch those come out, in the main cast for the most part stays together. They all have this really cool Flanagan tonality. How has that been?
Well, it's been a lot of fun. Mike is a really great guy, and he's very clever, and I think he has a good sensibility about him, about what audiences like. And when he tells a story, you know, he really has the audience in mind, you know, and he's very respectful of all the material and everything that he sources, and he's a big fan of horror. So I think audiences really enjoy it because he's giving them what they want as horror fans. But
he hires really great talent.
Yeah, he does.
People too.
And he likes to surround himself with known quantities, you know, because he plans everything out meticulously. He builds the shots and the sets around his set list. So he comes up with a set list first after he writes the script, and then they build the sets accordingly. So Mike doesn't like it when you throw something new into the mix that he's not prepared for. That's a no-no for Mike, because he likes to know how it's going to go, which is something you can never do in film. So eventually it'll hit him. But right now he's just pressing on. But it's been a great opportunity for me because Mike has given me a lot of interesting roles, and they've been a lot of fun, and they've been different from each other, which is fun for an actor because you know, I never think of it like, oh, I'm going in to play the dad in the show. You know, it's you're playing a person, and those people are, you know, people are complicated. I think we all know that. So as an actor, it's interesting, right? You have something to do. And although I feel like Haunting of Hill House, the thing I had to do was run in and out of the house in each episode. I felt like I was in episode 1 in every episode. But it's nice also to work with the same people over and over again because you know what everybody's kind of bringing to the show, and you know, and it feels like a family until your flanaphone doesn't ring, and then you get nervous.
Yeah.
Your flanaphone.
The flanaphone is what's going on? Better call the commissioner.
You know, the thing you mentioned too, that he always, the same cast, but he always unique to your role each go around. The Fall of the House of Usher was wild to watch because your guys' performances are like drastically different than the lanes each of you had been playing in.
Yeah, I think we all thought that we were making a black comedy, and Mike was continually reeling us in, but it was a funny. A lot of the scenes were really just naturally funny, so it was hard not to play to that aspect.
Yeah. And
everything was bigger in that world, so it gave us a little license to kind of get out of our lanes a little bit. Yeah.
Dee, I mean, you in the horror genre has just been a treasure, honestly. I'm not just blowing smoke. I'm telling you the truth. And I know when we open up to Q&A, you're going to get Cujo questions and throughout your career, but a certain director that you got to work with, I have adored his music since I was in high school. So seeing
Oh, who would that be?
getting to see you show up in the zombie verse was pretty cool, man. What was it like working with
Oh
those
my
guys?
God, I love Rob. I love him so much. I love him as a person. I love him as a director. Sherry brings him his health food drink and his vitamins every day. It's so cute. And you know, he's just open. When he sent me 3 from Hell, I wrote back and I said, "Oh, Rob, I've got to do this part." Because it was such a dichotomy from what I usually get. I said, "But I want to look like shit. I don't want any makeup. I'm going to dye my hair brown and I want horn-rimmed glasses." And he wrote back, "Okay." That was pretty much the extent of our discussion. And, you know, when we got to the big scene where I kind of do Sherry in, you know, I'm standing there, and the way I work, I wait for the character to tell me what to do. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting, and he said, "Well, try this and try this," and I went, "Oh, okay, I've got it, Rob, I've got it." And he said, "She's got it, roll it." You know, but he has so much trust in his actors in Halloween. We did it the way the script was written, the big scene in the kitchen, and then he said, "All right, everybody just bring in your best shit," right? So we all brought in the improvisation. All the bagel stuff was improv with Scout Taylor Compton and me, and I love that about a director. That's, for me, when you really get the gold and the special stuff, is when stuff happens like penis breath. The laugh on penis breath was just happened, you know? At the end of the dinner table scene, he says, go ahead, say it.
He's in Mexico with Sally.
Yeah. And I feel all these tears come up, and I go, Mary goes, "Oh my God, I don't want my kids to see me cry." So I got up and left. Stephen finally cuts, and he comes over and he says, "Steve, why did you get up and leave? It's not in the script." And I explained to him what happened, and he looked at me and he took it in, and he turned around to the crew and he said, "You've got a half hour. Build me another wall to the kitchen with a sink with running water," so he could bring both of us over to that sink and bring me back into that big close-up where I say he hates Mexico. And it all happened because I trusted Mary and he trusted me, and it was a magical moment that was born in the film.
All because you improv.
Trust.
Well, because, you know, it's one thing, you know, to have all your ducks in a row, but it's another thing altogether to be able to recognize, you know, the space between the ducks, I guess.
Yeah, the moments. Yeah.
For you guys, in all the, you know, your career, how does that play out as an actor or an actress? Do you see it in film school? You know, I went, you know, particularly for like writing, directing, overall overseeing type classes, and so the way my brain works is, you know, it's almost like its own storyboard of how I would like the scene to go when I'm looking at a set or the actors having a ride.
Thank you guys.
Thank you
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much for your time.